Do you think you're boring? This is not meant to be a video telling you the specific activities that will create intrigue or mystery surrounding your character. Truly, becoming an interesting person is a side effect of a greater attribute, and that's authenticity. Having learned about personal branding, to become an interesting person, the goal is not to be captivating. Being interesting is simply the side effect of being yourself. This is done by fully exploring your individuality where people want to figure you out. Being comfortable in your own skin. We've encountered people who seem disingenuous, putting up a mask to those around them. It's the rejection from others that creates the fear that we will be outcasted or become lonely. So as a solution, we appeal to other people's egos and their approval rather than our own. The idea of peeling away the mask instills the belief that those who previously like us no longer will. We have constructed a version of ourselves that is insecure and projects a false reality onto others. For what is reality? Well, simply our own perception of it. If that perception be negative or positive, reality is a reflection of that through our perception. However, if we are uncomfortable with exercising our individuality, we begin to lie. Instinctively as humans, we can feel when someone is putting up a false version of themselves, whether it be through their tone of voice, their facial expression, choice of words. And why are we repulsed by that? Lying indicates future behavior, and you've guessed it, more lying. If I cannot interact with the real you, how can I construct a solid understanding of something that is not grounded in truth? The other side of the coin is not being polarizing enough, always sitting on the fence. These are the people who don't have much going for them. Rather than acting as a force in the universe, they are more acted upon. Again, this is out of fear for how people would react to the real you. Instead, we take no stance on anything. We do not have any motives or goals, for that will attract judgment and disapproval from others. Then, having identified the two forms of deception, how do we become more comfortable with ourselves? I don't know exactly how, but it must involve genuinely putting your own approval above others. Reflection, journaling, and a combination of doing stuff that you actually give a fuck about. Want to start that YouTube channel, start up that really niche hobby, change your haircut, try a new style of clothing, take up a new sport. I don't care. How many of these interests are stopped by your desire for validation of other people's approval? That is how. Pushing through the uncomfortableness of disapproval of others, but genuinely enjoying what you like doing. Where is the interest generated? When you meet someone, your brain attempts to compartmentalize them, knowing that you're a complex being like yourself, and understand them. Where interest is generated is acting outside of the box people have put you in. The best example is, well, one's self. Have you thought, why am I the way I am? The likelihood of this question having an articulated answer is low. There are a myriad of factors we can account for. Also, with the understanding that the past cannot predict the future, nor should it determine your present. I can only guess and be somewhere close to the truth, but never be exact. But with some bias, we believe we can work people out like in an equation. Thus, unpredictability is where the most interest is generated. As an example, put me in the box of Asian or A student. At first glance, you can guess that academics would be important or a high priority, or my Asian background would explain my high marks. After all, I was in the top 4% of students who chose the university route in high school. However, I chose not to go to university. Why? The answer to why aren't you how I explained or predicted you to be, is where the interest is generated. It's the story for why you do particular things that compels people to try and understand you. Cause and effect. The attempt to understand is a pursuit, almost playful in a sense. What is the reward then? A feeling of understanding, the same feeling you get being stuck on a math problem to then clearly see a solution. So, how do you become unpredictable? If you aim to be unpredictable, that's already too predictable. You'll be put in a box like, you're chaotic without any sense of order. I do not need to figure you out. However, simply being our most authentic self is the path forward. It's being the version of you that doesn't yield to the expectations of those around you. It's the version of you who puts his approval above others. This idea of subverting people's expectations falls under personal branding, particularly when on social media. Naval Ravikant would mention this. No one can compete with you because your individuality makes you stand out from the crowd in the market. Alex Hormozy also mentions stereotypes within the personal branding space. If you're going to start an Instagram page, for example, that has pictures of you smoking cigars, a $100,000 watch, and a Mercedes Benz while giving out financial or real estate advice, you've become too predictable. People will dismiss you for just being another financial bro and won't continue to consume your content because they have already figured you out, or you're so similar like the other creators out there. And the same can be said in real life. So I assure you, your experiences, how you think, your hobbies and interests are uniquely yours. Push through the uncomfortableness of judgment and learn to be comfortable being yourself. Do not be someone else. Do not fit into a category. Simply be you. And that's how you become interesting.